Okay, so episode 1 did not work. So we have decided, since I didn't make a recording, that we are going to start this run over. This is Against the Storm. I have skipped the tutorial, which means that I am going to be showing a couple of losses on my stats page. And I just realized that we don't have a picture of me up. Bear with me just a moment here while I get that fixed. All right. There we go. Okay, so now that you can see me and we can see the game, let's go ahead and continue on with what we were doing. All right, so as I said, we lost the first map, so I went ahead and reset my progress just so we can get a consistent record of the new run. Now, the downside is that this means I do have 2 games lost because I abandoned the tutorial rather than finishing them. We're going to go ahead and go into the Smoldering City. We're going to go to buy upgrades. Now you'll see we don't even have enough to have deeds, so we can't even track our progress yet because we haven't won anything. But that's okay. It just means that I can't get any accomplishments on our first game, and since I can't get any accomplishments, I'm going to go ahead and go over here. So first thing we're going to do is change our difficulty up to impossible, which is the hardest I'm allowed to play on. We'll name it something optimistic like Oh God, Why? And beavers are really good for cutting down trees. Lizards like fire, and they are good with meat and with hunting. So having beavers here is always going to be useful for kickstarting the economy of your settlement, because you're always, always, always going to need to chop down wood. And when I'm picking my caravan, I've got this option or this option. Now you'll notice this option starts with some water skins. This is identical, this is identical, this is identical. This option has some copper bars, which are used to make tools. But this one has wood, mushrooms, roots, and eggs. Whereas this one has broccoli, insects, and berries. But this also has 2 more people. I don't know what species they are. They could be any of the 3 species currently unlocked at the start of the game. But this is the one we're going to go with because it gives us more people. It gives us that little bit extra room to maneuver at the beginning. Now, since we're playing on Impossible, I have 2 embarkation points. I'm going to choose to take 30 more wood. That means we're going to have food problems, but that is not a problem for right now. Go ahead and embark. Alright, so when we're playing this map, on Impossible, you get 1 benefit and then a bunch of negatives. Normal mode, it's like 3 and 3, but we're playing on the hardest route, so let's see what we have. So, starting from Hostility 0, so this is throughout the entire game, during Drizzle, which is the first of the 3 seasons every year, if characters have housing, if my population has housing, then they have a 20% chance to double the yield every production cycle. So housing is going to be huge for our economics. Okay, now starting at Hostility 2, then during the storm, during the 3rd season, reputation generated from Resolve, that's basically high morale, is 95% slower. So no matter how happy my people are during the storm, I'm not going to get points from their happiness. Okay, also Hostility 2. We need housing, again, so sensing a theme here. And if they don't have housing, they get increasingly unhappy. Okay? Starting from Season 3, or not season I should say, but Hostility Level 3, about once per storm, maybe twice, we're going to lose a building and we're going to have to rebuild it. And that's going to be annoying and slow us down a bit. And then starting at 4, if we don't have housing and services, then we're going to start choosing, we're going to start eating double, which is not really a problem. Honestly, this one's not a problem. If I don't have enough extra food for that, then we're already in trouble. Really, the lightning is the biggest one I'm concerned about. This means that I'm going to want to solve for this. I can't really do anything about this, and it's hard to generate reputation from resolve during a storm anyway. So honestly, not that bad. And then because we are on the Royal Woodlands, we have increased harvesting speed. So let's go ahead and get into the actual game. The first thing I always do is I turn off coal consumption and I turn off oil consumption. We start with 20 coal, and coal is a very efficient fuel source, but I turn it off because some dangerous glades like this one, or this one, or this one, might have events in them that require me to have coal to solve them. And I would rather have the opportunity to take on a dangerous glade event than be a little bit more efficient with my fuel, especially since the first thing I always do is build 2 lumber camps. Building 2 lumber camps is basically always the best thing to do when you first get in the game. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to build a nice little set of paths around our central hearth. Since everything that gets produced has to be returned to the main storage here, and everything that we build from has to take components from the main storage, I generally find it helpful to put a set of roads right around main storage. This is going to be our economic hub. This is going to be our basic downtown for Oh God Why. Let's go ahead and find out how it works. So now we have our villagers running around. So the ones that don't have, well, paths don't cost anything, so they didn't need to pick anything up. And the other ones went and picked up the parts needed to make the woodcutters camp. Let's speed this up a bit. We're going to put 3 beavers here because beavers have a chance to produce twice as much wood. So whenever possible, you want to put races in the buildings where they have a chance of producing twice as much, or the buildings that make them happier. And then if you've got spare slots, that's where you shove the other guys. And that reminds me, your choice of firekeeper matters. Lizards give everyone a bonus to resolve, which means everyone's morale goes up if a lizard is working here. And that's really great. Beavers use less fuel, which is good if fuel is hard to come by. But as I said, I'm always going to have 2 lumber camps. There is never a good reason for me to put a beaver in that slot. I actually prefer to put humans. Now, the reason I put humans is I lose the game if this red bar ever hits 12. If it ever gets all the way to the end. And right now, the queen, who is basically the person who's put me in charge of this village, is losing patience at a rate of roughly 1/4 of a unit per minute. But if I put a human in there, it drops down to 1/5. And that's a lot of extra time for me to adapt. So it's just more time to be able to solve problems and get my reputation all the way to 12, which is how we win. Now at some point I'm going to have to pick 3 buildings, but I'm not. And the reason I'm not is because when this timer gets to about here, I'm going to get a little pop-up that lets me choose my first set of orders. First we get an economic cornerstone. So we can either choose to get 2 more villagers every year, or we can get 5 plant fiber per minute without having to harvest it. Plant fiber is mostly used to make fabric, which is one of your 3 essential building components in this game. And not having to worry about harvesting it is a big economic boon. It's huge. 2 more villagers does escalate how quickly I can take advantage of resources, but it does require kind of a rapid growth, and there are situations where having a lot of people means that your people get unhappy faster, and that can cause you to lose more of the queen's patience. So we're going to go ahead and take the fiber per minute. As I was saying, when this timer gets to about here, I'm going to get another little pop-up for my orders, my first set of things that the queen wants me to do in order to generate reputation. Now you get reputation from fulfilling orders, from having people be happy, and sometimes you find little bonus boxes out in the wild that you can either take as economic resources or as reputation. So we are going to go ahead and see what our orders are. So first we can choose between getting humans resolve up to 24 and keeping it there for 30 seconds. Gets 2 humans. Great, people. 30 grain. Grain is used to make ale, which makes beavers and humans happy. It's used to make flour, which can then be turned into biscuits and pie, which makes everybody happy. Or it can be packaged up into packs of crops, which can be sold for money. In this case, amber. And then 3 more parts. Parts are really hard to get. And my guiding rule is that if something offers you parts, you generally take it, because that's going to let you make more camps. It's going to let you make more essential buildings. It's generally going to help overall. Our other option is the same idea with lizards. Now, lizards are harder to make happy in the first place, which is why we only need 14 instead of 24. We still get 2. Instead of grain, we get meat. Now, meat can be eaten raw, but if it's processed, then it turns into things like skewers, which are kind of like kebabs, and they are something lizards love eating. They can be turned into jerky, which both humans and lizards loved. And then tools. Tools are used to open up those kind of loot boxes you find around the map. But I'm going to go with parts, because I'd rather have an early economic gain than a later one. Okay, so we either sell 15 amber worth of goods to a wandering trader, and that gives us 2 random people. It gives us 10 more amber, and it gives us wine. Wine lets us make beavers happy. Or we open up 4 glades, and just opening up 4 glades gives us 10 brick, 10 wood, and lets workers who are working in a glade carry more items. We want to do this anyway. We 100% want to do this regardless. So we're going to pick exploration. Then trading post. Building a trading post is what lets traders come to your territory, and that's a pretty good way of building things. Plus, again, 5 more parts. Grain's not so great, but it does give us tools. And the thing is, we have to build the trading post, and we have to get 10 amber in order to turn this in. Our other option is to package up some crops and some provisions, which basically ends up being food items, and just send them back to the Citadel in exchange for 4 people and 10 amber. Now, this sends resources away from my town, and this kind of does because I have to sell enough resources to get the 10 amber, but in the long run, I think this is going to be the more sustainable option, because we definitely want this building anyway, and again, we always want parts. So let's go ahead and resume. And now that I know what my quests are, we know I need to build a trading post. You don't have to do anything special. You always have trading posts. So let's pick some buildings. So what happens is, in every game, there's a bunch of buildings that might show up in this kind of slot machine of options, but then you have to pick them. So herb garden and plantation are both farms, essentially, and humans are great at farming. We can either get roots and herbs. Roots are edible. They can be turned into flour. I think they can be turned into ale. Herbs can be used to make pies and biscuits and incense, which is important for religion for humans and lizards. On the other hand, we can get the plantation, which gives us berries and plant fiber. Now remember, we're already getting 5 plant fiber per minute for free doing nothing, which means that what this really just gives us is berries. Berries can be turned into wine, which maybe make the beavers happy. Might be able to be used in biscuits, maybe pies, and there's a couple other uses for berries, but really half of this is already being covered for free, so we don't really want this one. The trapper's camp lets us, if we find meat, or we find insects, or we find eggs out in the wild, we can send someone to get that. So it is food production, but it is heavily dependent on finding stuff out in the wild. Now, right now, that's a set of roots. It's a set of clay, which can be picked up with a stonecutter's camp. So let me go ahead and throw that down while I'm here. And let's make a scavenger's camp that we can't use, but just in case, because I like having it. We're going to go ahead and get that herb garden. So our second option. Okay. So skewers. It's a thing that lizards love to eat, but it takes meat, and I don't have any sources of meat. Biscuits. Biscuits, we just got an herb garden, so potentially we'll be able to get spices, but we do need flour, and we don't have any way of making flour currently. And pigment is used to make scrolls, which can lead to education, which the beavers like, but that is pretty far up the chain. Biscuits and pie both require flour, and then pottery requires clay. So that would be useful if we had flour already, but as of right now it's useless on its own. So that's going to take us over here. Pack of provisions, not that useful. Not unless we get a quest for it. Flour, it's the basis for any baked goods, so like getting this might let us get this or this later. And then barrels. Now barrels are an important component of making wine, or ale, or pickled goods, which are something else beavers like to eat. And they can be turned into trade goods directly. So we're going to go ahead and take that one. Okay, so now we have a choice. We can get efficient planks, scrolls, and packs of trade goods. We can get water skins, which kind of serve the same purpose as barrels, fabric, and then packs of luxury goods. Now the stars, again, I should point out, these stars are how efficient they are. For example, planks at 3 stars takes about 3 wood to make 2 planks, and it's about half a minute, as opposed to the most basic way of making planks, which takes 8 planks to make, or sorry, it takes 8 wood to make 2 planks, and takes about 40 seconds, which is quite a bit longer. So lower stars is less efficient than higher stars, but sometimes you just gotta have access to the thing at all, and you can't worry about getting the most efficient option. Then we've got an option of turning wood into coal, turning clay into bricks, not very efficiently, and making jerky. We're going to go ahead and take the lumber mill, because planks are universally good. Let's go ahead and continue. Now the lumber mill takes 2 bricks and 2 fabric in order for me to make it at all. And that means I need to get those. So we're going to make this crude workstation. Go ahead and toss a couple of lizards over there. And you know what? We're actually not going to toss them over there. We're going to put them on this side. Why? Well, this is clay. And we need clay to make bricks. And we need 2 bricks and 2 fabric to make this lumber mill. Now, we're already getting fiber delivery. So we can already make fabric. But we cannot yet make bricks. Not unless we get some clay. So I'm going to go ahead and throw a lizard in here. I'm going to just tell it to make 2 of each. Pop up to 2. And we are going to beeline into that. So what I just did is, rather than having the woodcutters cut whatever they feel is convenient, we're saying specify these trees. Go straight in that way and open up a dangerous glade. Now, my people's resolve is based on how hostile the forest is, and the forest gets more hostile with each passing year. So, part of why I want to open up a dangerous glade early is it's when we're going to have... It's a good point where our morale is not taking too big of a hit just from the forest, so hopefully we'll be able to deal with whatever we find before there's any kind of huge penalty for doing so. So let's see. We found an open vault. If we don't deal with it, then in 10 minutes... it's going to kill every living being within 20 fields. Now, this is 20. And it's going to do that in a radius, right? So it's like all of that. It's just a huge area around there if we don't deal with it. So we have to deal with it. While we're dealing with it, anyone who's cutting wood or gathering resources takes -18 to resolve. That's huge. And the Queen's Impatient at 175% faster. So instead of, 19, this is going to be 56. So we're going to lose about we're going to lose about a little over half a bar per minute while we're working on it. And we're going to be working on it for a bit. So let's go ahead and pop this guy out. Now we can choose between ancient tablets, which are worth a lot of money to traders, but also sometimes are required for certain orders from the Queen, and scrolls, which can be used in certain buildings to provide education to the beavers. Or we can get just a half point of reputation and 15 amber. I'm going to take the ancient tablets in this case. Now notice we took a huge resolve penalty for that. Okay. Now when I take these guys off of gathering, that penalty largely goes away. I say largely because it doesn't go away completely. Oh, right. Right, it's also woodcutters. So, actually, let's go ahead and cut these guys first. So we've got one beaver woodcutting. Yes. Now notice this. Now if this red goes all the way around, then one of my beavers is going to leave the town, and it's going to start the circle all over again. And the queen gets impatient when people leave your town. So I want to make sure that doesn't happen. So we're not going to let it happen. We're just not going to let it. You're like, well, how are you going to stop it? It's going down. Well, there's a couple of ways. I could burn more fuel in the hearth, and that gives resolve bonuses to every species. But I can also favor species, which is what I'm going to do. Now, favoring species gives them a +5, but gives the other two species a -5. And now we've got beavers going down. But the thing is, beavers have to tick down from the amount that they were at before the circle starts and they start leaving. And in that time, the lizards have gone all the way up. So what I can do is I can basically do what I call resolve ping pong, where I'm going to bounce back and forth between those two. And we now have plant fiber that can be picked up by a scavenger camp. Now that said, I'm not putting anyone there because all gatherers have a -18 to resolve right now, which makes it a very bad idea to put more people on gathering. But let's go ahead. Now the reason I'm designating all of this is to make sure that we don't accidentally open up another glade, which is what they call these little circles of resources, so that we don't open up another glade while we're working the first one. I have only one guy cutting wood anyway, so it'd be pretty hard for him to open up a new glade, but it would be possible. Alright, now that we're in the storm, everyone is taking a -4 penalty, and that makes it even harder to keep resolve up. And right now I don't have many people working because I can't. You know, we're going to throw another lizard in here. Might as well make some more bricks. I'm going to go back to favoring beavers. Alright, they finished working on this, and that means I can stop favoring anybody. So that solves our morale problems for a bit. Also means I can reassign some workers. So first off, we always want our beavers working this if possible. Alright, so that was the first storm, and that's our first year. So now we have to choose. We can get a human, a beaver, and a lizard, or a beaver and 2 humans. I'm going to go ahead and take the beaver and 2 humans, partially because parts, but also humans are a lot easier to keep happy. So we can choose between leisure, means serving ale. If we can get ale served, we can gain reputation from people's morale a lot faster. Or we can increase how much wood we get from chopping down trees, but it makes planting crops slower. I'm going to go ahead and do letters to the Citadel. Not because it's necessarily better. I actually think the other one's probably better, but if we can go hard toward getting a brewery, that can get us out of here fast. Packs of trade goods. Okay. Or build up 50 roots. And 50 roots gets us 5 beavers and 15 ale. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, hey. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that one too. So we've opened up 1 glade for this, and we need 6 glades for this. So now we only need 3 more for this. And since we're getting these 3 anyway, 3 more to get that is not a big deal. Go ahead and do that. Well, we're going to swap this with a lizard. All they're doing now is retrieving these goods. And that'll let me put a beaver here. Toss a lizard in that. I'll notice I haven't been building housing. And housing is going to be key to our success, as I said earlier. So, I should probably get on that. Alright. Now, at the moment, I don't have any species-specific housing. That's something that you unlock in later levels, and it makes people happier. But since I don't have it, we're just going to build these basic shelters to start with. Now, each basic shelter counts as basic housing for 3 people. We have 3 plus 4 plus 7, so we have 14. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So that is going to build 5 times 3 is 15 housing. Sorry about any drinking noises. Cucumber water is a great idea, and I freeze it so that I'm basically drinking ice cold water at all times, and then as it melts, I get more ice water. It's fantastic. Now, you know what I just realized? I should leave a guy in here perpetually, because we're always going to have fabric. We're always going to have plant fiber, so we might as well just always turn that into fabric right away. We're going to turn off these maximums and just let them keep going. Now we're going to put 2 lizards in here, and then any workers who are unassigned, in this case our 2 humans, do all of our building. Now the other thing I'm going to do is the trading post doesn't actually ever need to have people go to it, and so it doesn't matter how far away it is from my central hub. It just needs to exist in order for me to talk to traders. So we're going to go ahead and create one over here. Why am I building a road? Well, because I have this scavenger camp back here that's going to be picking up this plant fiber at some point. People are going to need to take it from there to my central storage. Unless I build secondary storage, which I might. Alright, so a trader showed up. Now, I don't want to sell these, because these might come up as a quest later. I do, however, want to sell 10 amber worth of supplies. And what I can use amber for is I can turn around, I can buy this plantation blueprint, which remember I rejected earlier, but buying it is different than getting it for free. Buying it just adds to my abilities, essentially. Unfortunately, it would cost 19. And I have to get 10 to send to the queen in the first place, so I'd have to basically get 29. Same thing with this. We get +1 clay whenever we are harvesting clay. That's really good if we're harvesting clay. And then sturdy boots, faster movement speed, just multiplies your efficiency so much. But again, I need 10 anyway to turn in for a quest, so this would really mean I need 25. So let's go ahead and tell her we want the 10. And now we have to figure out what to do with it. Now we're getting fiber for free, and that basically means we're getting fabric for free. So I am completely comfortable selling that right now. I don't have anything yet that uses herbs or resin. Those are used for more advanced components to better recipes, but I don't have anything that uses them right now, so I might as well sell them. Now, we only have 33 food. We've only got roots and eggs, so I cannot afford to sell any of my food right now, because if your people start starving, they get unhappy. So we're going to sell off our excess logs. To get just enough so that we can turn in our first order. Now you'll notice we got a reputation point, but we also lost a point of impatience, giving us more time to continue with the rest of the stuff. Now on top of that, there is a order to turn in roots, but we don't have the ability to eat much else, so I can't do it yet. Alright. So a brickyard obviously produces bricks, and it produces them more efficiently than our crude workstation does. Or we can produce skewers and biscuits. Now we've got the ability to make flour from that provisioner earlier, which means biscuits might actually be viable. But we don't have any meat to turn into skewers. Similarly, we don't have any meat to turn into jerky. And I don't think we want to be worried about incense right now. We're going to take the brickyard. And because of how I like to set up my towns, I'm actually going to move this lumber camp up here. I'm going to have it clear out this area. And since you're no longer making bricks, we're going to get rid of the clay from its storage. Now that puts it back in the main storage, so there's still clay here. It just takes it out of here because these guys are now only making fabric. And I just realized we don't have any music going. Which is a shame, because they've got a pretty good soundtrack. Okay, now notice how quickly they're getting through these trees. That's really great. And the reason I wanted to do that, well, I can't do it just yet. There we go. Oh, no, that was dumb. That's where we want that. And we want this here. Because what I wanted to do is I want to put this brickyard right there. Now, you know what? At this point, just so I don't forget I have it, I should put my provisioner up. That's everything I can build out of these. Got an herb garden, but we don't have any fields on which to grow crops, so we're not going to worry about it. Alright, second storm, and I've got housing this time. So this doesn't matter. This does, but I wasn't getting resolve from, or I was getting reputation from resolve anyway, and this always matters. Now I am taking a penalty to our resolve due to how hostile the forest is. And you can actually lower the hostility of the forest by taking people off of wood cutting, which I don't really want to do, but I probably should. All you really want to do is just drop it to the next one down and then keep as many people on cutting wood as you can, because you really need wood. It is kind of the basis of your economy, since without wood your main fire could go out. We're going to go ahead and move these guys over here. Now we have 18 seconds. Do I think these guys are going to get fed up with me before this runs out? No, I think we're all right. Alright, so we are on to our next year. Now again, we can sell 35 amber worth of goods to a trader, plus 30 spark dew. Now the thing is, there's a specific building that gets you spark dew. I don't have that building. And I don't have that spark dew. So that is kind of rough. We can also get Lizard Resolve up, keep it up for 2 minutes, and turn in some packs of provisions. And I've got a provisioner as one of the buildings that I have, which lets me make these more efficiently than I could otherwise. So we're actually going to go with that. The 8 parts is also huge. Luxury goods. Okay. Luxury goods require me to package up stuff that I could use to make people happy and instead send it to the Citadel. Otherwise, it's selling stuff to the trader, which I want to do anyway, and 30 spark dew, which I don't have a good way of getting. But we're going to go ahead and take the 30 spark dew, because maybe I'll find it. Okay, we're going to take beavers, because that'll let me replace you and replace you. Actually, no, we'll leave you alone. We want to add you. So that's going to be more planks. Alright, and then we've got a bunch of unemployed people. We can go ahead and start making some bricks. We have some herbs. We need 5 packs of provisions, so we'll do that. We still have 3 unemployed humans. So we're going to go ahead and send them to start picking up that plant matter. Also, another caravan. Okay, so either we get 2 more people every year, or beavers get +1 resolve every time we produce 75 wine. Now, there's no guarantee we're going to produce 75 wine, because we don't have the buildings that let us produce wine yet. 2 more workers are 2 more workers. But resolve is better long term. I'm going to take the +2 people every year, and I'm going to hope that they don't get pissy when they show up and leave, because that could be very bad. Now again, we're going to beeline into this dangerous glade. Yeah, we're low on food. I don't really have any good sources of food right now. That's alright. We will get some. You know what? Let's go ahead and drop another road that way. Roads are free as long as I'm doing the basic road. And our villagers move 5% faster along basic roads. They move 20% faster along stone roads, but that requires you to have stone, which I do not have. Also, we have 3 unhoused people. So let's go ahead and actually build 9 more housing. And that's going to be way more housing than we need. I've only got 1 human working on it because everyone else is otherwise employed. But, yeah. My stone cutters just ran out of stuff to harvest. So now we have no source of food. I mean, technically you get some eggs from trees. Okay, yeah, that's real good. This is what fertile ground looks like right here. And that means we can build an herb garden. And that means we can start growing our own food. That's going to be huge next year. So we are going to build that herb garden. Now you can freely move herb gardens or camps. You cannot freely move other major buildings. I'm trying to figure out the best place to put this. I think it's here. Plus, there's more roots here. That's great. Now, we have more roots, so stonecutters camp. We have more flax fields, so scavengers camp. But this just gives us plant fiber, so it's not a big priority. We have a medium abandoned cache. Now this requires some tools, which I have 6 of, but it needs 14 for me to open them, so I can't do that yet. We've got a granary. Granary is great because a granary lets you build fabric. And we are currently building fabric inefficiently in the crude workstation, so I'm actually going to turn that off too. So when this guy finishes building, he's going to deliver all the fabric, and then he's going to stop working because we are going to fix this building and make our fabric here instead. And then the dangerous event is this ancient shrine. And this ancient shrine requires... Okay. So it's going to kill 5 villagers in 6 minutes if I haven't solved it, and it takes about 2 minutes for us to work. It requires 24 fabric or 8 packs of provisions for me to do that. Now, I only have 6 packs of provisions, and I don't have anything that lets me make more at the moment. So, packs of provisions probably not the right move. Fixing this would take 2 minutes. So let's go ahead and do that. We might lose 5 villagers doing this. You know what? Since what you are doing is admittedly not important, as soon as they deliver these 5 plant matter, I'm going to take them off that job too. And actually, now the point is to make more efficient fabric here, but I need fabric for this, and there's no reason for me to wait when I can potentially get more fabric right away. Because now they're producing 4, that's going to get us to 20 of the 24 that we need. And then up here, now this symbol is farming, and humans are adept at farming. So they've got that bonus % chance to get results. We're going to go ahead and tell these guys to start making fabric. And as soon as these guys are out, we can delete this. What we're going to do is we're going to put 2 lizards on this. We're going to tell them, hey, you're doing this with fabric, and we're going to take fragrant roots. This gives us incense every time we produce roots. We're going to produce roots here, and we're making a herb garden, which also lets us produce roots. So we're going to get a lot of roots, and roots giving us free incense is going to be huge. In fact, we're going to turn off herbs, because half the reason I want herbs is to make incense. So we are going to take this option. We're going to investigate. And they are going to start gathering up fabric to take over here. You can't do anything. We don't have any stuff with which to make herbs. Our lizards are pretty unhappy, so we're going to boost their happiness. This is only going to really last to the storm, because at the storm, everyone's going to get unhappy. But I've got other plans for what to do during the storm. Crap. I did not check in on these soon enough, so that they opened up another glade. I mean, I have to open up more glades, but I wanted them to be dangerous glades, because dangerous glades have more resources. Oh well. It is what it is. We'll be fine. I'm going to stop favoriting lizards. And we're going to force a delivery now. Because this is going to take 1:30 to work. Oh, we're going to lose 5 villagers. I didn't do it in time. Queen's not going to like it. Oh well. Queen's just going to have to not like it, because I don't have anything else I can do. We're going to go ahead and take these guys off of planks. I have 94, which I think is enough to be getting on with. We have plenty of planks. Let's go ahead and do that, just to slow how quickly we lose people. And in fact, let's do that, so we don't lose any beavers. Now, we did lose a lizard. actually, I can make the storm a lot less bad by taking people off of woodcutting, which is what I intended to do and forgot to do. Alright. Now, there are our 5 people dying. Yeah. So we are going to have to rejigger where people are. First off, you don't need to be there. We're going to put 2 humans on this herb garden because during the storm they can be working ahead to make this farm field more productive. Secondly, we're going to take one of our lizards, we're going to put him back in there to speed this back up. That's empty. That's empty. That's empty. We don't have any clay, so this should be empty. That's empty. That has 2 guys that we can take off of it, and that's going to let us burn less wood. A lot less wood. We're going to burn no wood. It'll be fine. Okay. So that hurt. We lost a lot of impatience to people dying. That was really bad. But no use crying over it now, so let's go. Education increases production or faster wood cutting? We're going to go faster wood cutting. We're going to say we want to open caches. Now, the good news is we don't have to build more housing. We have 24 housing. We have 16 people. It's just way too much housing. We do need to get stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sell this. I hate selling it, but we're going to. We're going to sell one of these. We're going to sell this. We're going to sell that. I don't have anything over here that requires that at the moment. So we're going to sell that too. We're going to keep the rest of this, I think, because we're going to need it. And what are we doing? We cool. But we also need food. I have 16 people. We have people working a farm now. So we're going to just get some basic food for everybody. And then we are going to get a little more amber. And let's see if they'll let us get... Can I get one more amber if I get rid of some of these vegetables? There we go. Okay, so we're going to trade that. Now we have 21. Now I could get this, which gives us +1 resolve across the board for everyone that's got housing, and that's everyone. But we can also get a new building. And I think we're going to get the furniture. We're going to save this amber for later. That gets us 32 out of the 35 sold that we need, but we still need the spark due. Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. But hey, you know what? That's the thing with this game, is we work ourselves out of our problems. Gonna go ahead and put these beavers back on wood cutting. Gonna stop favoring the lizards. Alright. Actually, the queen's pretty unhappy with us. So I think I should probably focus on at least turning in another mission right away. So we're going to go ahead and just cut our way into the small mini glade so we can get this one done. We are low on food, but you know what? We are making a bunch of roots. And you know what? We have a ton of lizards that aren't doing anything. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 of them here. Get more roots. We're going to put... We'll put 3 of them here to make fabric. We don't really need any more building supplies of anything else at the moment. Aha! Scavengers camps can pick up eggs. So we're going to go ahead and do that for even more food. And then our last two guys, we're just going to go ahead and toss... Our last three guys, we're going to toss them here. We don't have anything that needs to be built right now. So they're just going to go there and harvest some more wood. Now, you'll notice that one of my goals is the People's Resolve, where we get humans up to 24. Humans right now are at 9. We can do this, because we only have to do it for 30 seconds. So what we're going to do is we are going to favor humans. That only gets us to fit 14, and we need 24. Okay? So, when we burn extra wood, we're burning a lot of extra wood. This is 120 wood over the course of a minute. But it does increase their resolve by 3 times. So it increases their resolve by 9. And then sacrificing the coal is going to burn most of our coal for that minute, but it's going to increase it by another 3. Which is why we're doing it. We're going to get the humans all the way up. We're going to knock this out of the park. Okay, so that's 4 glades. You know, we are going to move this over here. And let's see what building that gave us. They really want us to grow berries, and they keep giving us the plantation option. You know what? We have so much farmland. I'm going to take the plantation option. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to turn all that off. We're going to turn this off. That gives us another building. The brewery would let us make ale, but for ale we need either grain or roots. And we need... Okay, we did actually find some water skins, didn't we? Or we can make all that extra fabric into coats. And the thing with coats are, both humans and beavers like them. But the brewery is important for leisure, which we don't need. Excellent. Okay, yep, we're going with the clothier. So let's go ahead and build a clothier right here. Now we hit clearance. So all of our roots come in. And we have 18 people and we have 24 housing. Yeah, so we're fine. Why are you so low? They're hungry. Well, oddly enough, they can eat roots even if they don't love them. So that's going to be solved pretty soon. Plus we are getting eggs. Let's go ahead and toss a couple of humans in here making coats. Okay. And as you can see, we're just going to go ahead and do the easy ones because, like, we cannot afford a big dangerous glade. And there's lots of little glades that we can go ahead and pick up to get that 6 glades into the wilds mission done. You'll also notice we're starting to get some food stores now. So these guys are no longer hungry. It's really great. Ooh, even more fertile land. Okay, so we're basically swimming in farmland now. And just to round it out, let's grab this as well. Now, every time you open up a glade, it does increase the hostility of the forest, which goes against your resolve. But I gotta do it because I've got the mission. I signed up to do the mission, and I have to do the mission. So that's just how that is. Trader is coming sometime next year. There we go. So let's turn in that mission. Fantastic. That gives us another building. Okay. So. We didn't take the brewery. So if we take the tavern, I don't necessarily have anything that I can put in the tavern. That I can serve there. But taverns just existing can give a morale bonus if I staff them. Just buy it. It gives a morale bonus of 3. Now the other thing is specialized housing. Specialized housing makes that species much happier. It doesn't require any staffing. It just requires me to build it. And that's a permanent increase to a set of people's happiness. Now if I go over here, we can see how much. So like beaver housing has a potential +3 bonus. Human housing has a potential +3 bonus to resolve. But you know what? It's going to be better for me if I take the tavern. Despite the fact that I don't have anything that I can build in it, or that I can serve in it yet, just taking the tavern is overall better. So we're going to go ahead and stick a tavern here. And now, we're going to just put in orders to clear out all this wood without opening up more space. Because I don't really want to open up any more glades. So we want to cut all that down before we ever open up another glade. And what we're going to do is we are going to focus on the areas around fertile land, because fertile land is food. So we're going to go ahead and drop that guy there. I believe I saw another one, yes, here. So we're going to do it like that. And we're about to go into a storm. So if I take those guys out, how many can I put back in? 2. I can put 2 back in. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. And this scavenger camp is already empty, so we're going to go ahead and bring it over here. This guy's getting food. They're growing food. We didn't quite harvest all of it, I don't think, because there's still a couple of sections of roots here that they're not going to get to before it gets lost to the storm. But I'm kind of okay with that. And you know, we are going to go ahead and we are going to build a plantation here. Tell that plantation berries only. And we're going to make as much farmland as we can. And down here, we're going to make another herb garden. We're going to make this roots only. notice that our lizards are deeply unhappy. Well, that's alright. They're just gonna be, because they lose this part a lot slower than anyone else. So hopefully I won't lose anybody, even if I don't do anything about it before the end of the storm. Looks like we're doing okay. Alright. Well, that is a lot of beavers. We're going to go ahead and take the other one. Okay, we're going to put a beaver in here. And we're going to put 3 lizards in the tavern. Now, there's no one who particularly loves working the tavern, but having 3 people raises the global resolve by 3. Everyone's morale goes up because we have that fully staffed. +1 production to all packs of goods makes it easier to sell stuff. And bonus mushrooms whenever mushrooms are produced require us to be able to grow mushrooms, which I can't currently do. Okay. Packs of building materials and packs of trade goods. Bonus resolve whenever we open a glade. Okay. Barrels of ale and bonus grain, which I don't have any way of making, versus luxury goods, which gives me bonus incense, another group of people, and then, yeah, we'll go with that. We are in deep trouble, because we don't have a way of doing half the stuff, and the queen's already at 4. But, you know, you just do what you can. Got way too many lizards in here. I don't think I need this many lizards. Because we have enough of that. We have enough of this, we have enough of this. 12, 24, so we are using all of our housing right now. Let's go ahead and put some humans working in that patch. Back just a hair, and let's bring a path straight to the door there. And because I like it, we're gonna build paths all the way around the sides. And you can actually, there are some decorative structures, so we'll go ahead and put a bunch of bushes there and a couple benches. Now at some point I have to get the lizard resolve up to 22. I have to keep it there for 2 full minutes. So I can't quick burn like I did before. Doesn't mean I don't have anything I can do, but it does mean I cannot quick burn. Go ahead and do that, start clearing out that plant. Now we do have 14 tools, which is enough to open one of these caches. This... +1 barrel production. Oh, yes. Okay. Mushrooms. Interesting. Let's see what she's got to sell. So, bonus grain production when we produce grain. Bonus plant fiber when we produce vegetables. And bonus flour when we produce flour. I'm gonna go with bonus flour when we can produce flour. And we're close enough that I think... yeah. Well, I don't currently have any way of making vegetables or grain. So I'm not going to worry about either of those. But we have 40 food, so that means we definitely need to get more food somehow. We don't have a good source of mushrooms. have a good source of insects. And we need more roots. So ideally, I think we want these two things. Amber doesn't quite cut it. Fabric doesn't quite cut it. Fabric plus plant matter doesn't quite cut it. Adding in that which we can't use. Okay, now we got it. Alright. So let's go ahead and reduce the amount of fabric we're selling. There we go. Now what that lets us do is it lets us turn in this roots thing immediately. Which gives us another building. Brewery, okay. So do I have anything that's packs of luxury goods? So first thing I'm going to check, consumable items. We do have coats, we do have scrolls. Fantastic. Alright, now, we don't have any way of making luxury goods, and we have to get luxury goods at some point. So I think the brewery is probably our, the carpenter would be good, but the carpenter just gives us planks and tools. It doesn't actually help all that much. The cookhouse would potentially let us make some things we don't currently have access to. But we are going to go ahead and we're going to take, I think, the brewery. There we go. Now, taking the brewery does mean, well, first off, I have a lot more beavers now, so let's go ahead and get beavers beavering away. We also want humans. We don't need humans in here. That should solve our food issues. We still need the 30 spark dew somehow. And 17 plus 12, 29, only 24 housing. So we're going to need more housing. That'll get us to 30. No. 11 times 3. That's going to get us to 33. That'll be plenty of housing for a while. Let's go ahead and finish this road. I'm going to take both of you out and replace you with lizards because you don't have a special bonus for working there. But you do have a special bonus. Humans like brewing, so they are going to be more effective in here than otherwise. And we are going to start turning some of that ale, or some of that roots into ale. We're not going to make any packs of crops. At the moment, nobody's getting favored, but beavers and humans are very happy. So we're going to go ahead and favor lizards. Gets us to 9. Now remember, I can get 9 more just from doing a happy burn in here. We can actually get 12 more, but that only gets us to 21, and that's not quite enough. You don't have any fabric. And we have way more coats than we need. So we're going to drop this. We're going to set ourselves to a maximum of 40 coats. And the reason we're doing that is double the number of people that can wear coats. Lizards don't wear coats. Now we need packs of luxury goods, but we don't have anything that makes them. Okay. We could make flour, but we don't want to make flour because we're making ale right now. We're drinking our roots. We do, however, want to find a human. No, we can't. Okay. We'll make one human work this plantation for now. And remember, we have 14 tools. So, fabric, mushrooms, coal. Great for happy burn. That would let me make more tools. don't have anything that lets me make tools. Okay, so we are going to actually... Wait, what's in here? Pottery. Faster traders. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and put 2 lizards in here. And we're going to tell them to send us to the Citadel. And what that does is it gives us 10% more movement speed. It gives us +1 barrel production. So if we start making barrels, we'll be able to make more of them. And it gives us 0.75 of a reputation. Which, remember, we need 12 reputation to win, and we are currently at 5. Very useful. I think that's it for a while. So we are going to go ahead and zoom through some time. Actually, you know what? We're going to build more housing. Because we might as well. Let's go ahead and pull enough people off to lower that. We're going to increase... Wait, no. Yeah, just not honoring anybody will balance out that very nicely. Again, lizards lose their morale very slowly. Tavern got destroyed. Great. So we are going to go rebuild it, which will take a minute. But again, lizards lose their morale very slowly. So even though I'm not honoring them and they're going to go negative, they're not going to go negative fast enough for it to be a problem. Restored? No. Okay. Guess we're going to take that, which is going to slow down our planting. Not great, but nothing I can do for it, so guess that's how that works. We'll move this back here. We're going to go ahead and actually grab another woodcutting camp. Meanwhile, for people... we're going to focus on humans. So we can put another human in that. And we put 3 in this. Put another one in there. We are going to make this. I think another plantation makes sense. We're going to go ahead and move this guy back in here. And one thing that we can do that I haven't been doing is I can build an additional hearth, which will make the storm less intense. And we can build storage, so that they don't have to walk all the way to the main storage. But you know what? I did that backwards. We're going to delete this. We're going to delete that. I'm going to put the storage here. And we're going to put this hearth like so. Now that hearth is really close to that hearth. And I really wouldn't normally do this, except I need to save time. You know what? We're going to actually rotate this around this side. second one there. A shelter was destroyed. What shelter? That shelter. Let's rebuild that shelter too. So we have 2 humans there, 2 humans there. We're gonna have 2 humans there, 2 humans there. Humans are great at farming. This is gonna give us some food. I'm gonna go ahead and honor these lizards, keep them from leaving us. She's gonna show up in 5 minutes. Okay. By the end of that time, I'm hoping. Yep, so we're gonna go ahead and bung the lizard there. Put 2 humans in this. Have them just grow that. Right. We wanted more beavers. Yep, looks good. Okay. So she's showing up in 3 minutes 50 seconds, which should be during this year. Lizard there. Now I can get 12 resolve out of just doing a lot of burning. But that's all I can get, and we need to get lizards up to 22. We need to keep them there for 2 minutes, right? So this is, okay, 3 minutes 39, 2 minutes 20, fantastic. So we're not going to be able to get lizards there for a bit. I'd like to, which is not going to be possible. How are we doing on building supplies? We have some clay. Might as well make some pottery. Ah, but we don't have anyone working in here. So now we've got 8. Plus 12. That would get us to 20. That's still not enough. But maybe... Nah, not yet. Okay, so she arrived. So what can we get? We can buy food. We can buy pottery. Let's see, more coats when we make coats. Food production speed going up. Pottery lets us make more ale. We're gonna pickle some berries. Does it make sense? No. Are we doing it anyway? Yeah. Now they do like eating pickled goods. So pickled goods will make them happier. Excellent. But I think that's all we can really do for the year, so we're going to go ahead and run through time for a bit. Remember, I have 9 people chopping down wood right now. So we're going to go ahead. Oh, they're making deliveries. Okay. Okay, the provisioner got destroyed. Let's go ahead and rebuild the provisioner. We are down to 1.5 impatience, so we have to get on this. The shelter's been destroyed. So let's rebuild the shelter. Okay, 5 clay per minute. Yes, 100%. Well, ooh, it's either that or 60% more from the brewery, which means more pickled goods and more ale. But clay per minute lets me make my own pottery, which I need to make the ale in the first place. So that's what we're doing. We're going to go ahead and take the bonus berries, I think. Go ahead and put beavers in place. We're actually going to replace all of these with humans. $30, 43. So we have 43, and we have what? 9 plus 8 is 17 times 3 is 50. Yeah, we're in the 50s for housing, so that's fine. Beavers in there. Okay. Lizards are being favored. Pickled goods are being produced. Okay. Yeah. You know what? We are actually going to find a lizard. I'm going to swap you out for a human, because we are going to give ourselves another global +1 resolve bonus. And then we're going to do a happy burn. Now, the great thing about this happy burn is it's so intense that it's, despite the benefit, the penalty from -5 to humans from favoring lizards, humans are still benefiting. And what that's going to do is it's just generating us 1.5 per minute. And every time we pass a bar, we get another patience from the queen. Okay, humans went down. And lizards are under what we want them to be because we don't have coal anymore. So let's go ahead and stop favoring lizards, because that'll put humans back over the top. Not for long enough, because we are basically we'll go ahead and turn all of that off. But the point was, we got some more space from the queen. Small farm. Small farm would let us have crops, which would let us have ale. A weaver would let us make training gear. What do we need to make training gear? We don't have the stuff to make training gear. I think what we take in this instance is the human housing. Call her immediately. It's pissing off the queen, but we really need to get more points. So now we have 27 that are using basic shelters, which means we need 9 basic shelters. So if this is 6 and this is 4, that's 10. That's more than enough. So that's 10. That's going to fully cover these guys. But then 16 means we need 8. 6, 7, 8, 9. So we are making 9 human housing. It's also more than enough. Okay. So coming down here, what do we need? We need stuff that's going to make people happy. And you're not giving me anything that'll let me make people happy. What do I have for food? The granary makes pickled goods better than the brewery does. Okay. So stop making pickled goods. Just make ale. And you start making pickled goods out of berries. Okay, and then I think what we want to do is try to get some more food in here just to make certain that we're fine. And trade. Okay. Now we are going to raise that. I'm going to do that. And what we're doing here is, again, we're just happy burning for, in this case, just the humans. Rain collector. Rain collector is huge. The rain collector is how we get spark dew. And it's huge. Because that is one of our missions. Okay. Build a path there. Alright. Let's see what we got. Now, beavers like working in mechanical areas. So that means beaver resolve goes up just by putting him in this building. Okay, that was another mission, or another point of reputation from human happiness. Now we've gotten so much resolve from human happiness that we can't get any resolve from human happiness anymore. So we're going to go ahead and turn that guy off. Lowers us to hostility 5. Lower us to hostility level 4. You know what? Put another beaver in there. Woodcutter's camp was destroyed by lightning. You know, that's kind of perfect, because we're not currently using a woodcutter's camp. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Beaver resolve being low is a bit of a problem, but lizard resolve being low is not a problem because, as you're seeing, lizards lose impatience so very slowly. Herb garden. Now that is a problem. Okay. We're going to go ahead and take this one. Herb and root production is increased when we do biscuits, or free jerky when we make pie. Free jerky when we make pie makes sense, except we don't have anything that lets us make pie. Whatever. It hardly matters, because fire is going out. Why is the fire going out? Did I keep it going at a 3 burn all storm? That was dumb. Fire went out. That's real bad. That's real bad. Come on. Here we go. Okay, fire is back up. And we can turn in this. Fantastic. Okay. Beaver house, lizard house. We're going to take the lizard house. We're going to take the lizard house and we're going to immediately make more lizard housing than we can possibly use. And we're going to put in some beavers. Whew, okay. Remember, putting in specialized housing increases their happiness by quite a bit. So their happiness is now up to 12. And again, I can get 9 from doing a big burn, where we burn a bunch of wood. Now, of course, I've got to be careful with those big burns, because big burns can run us out of wood, and then the fire can go out. And if the fire goes out, everyone, as you saw, takes like a 20 resolve hit, which is bad, but, you know, it might be worth it just for us to win this map. She's coming in 3 minutes. Okay. We got 4 minutes to go, so that's all right. How are we coming on those pickled goods? We're actually going to have them stop making fabric and just make pickled goods, because pickled goods make lizards and beavers happy. You're just making pottery, so lets us make pickled goods. You're making ale, which makes humans and beavers happy. Okay. Max bonus is +6. Currently it's at +3. We have 2.5 minutes, and if I do a happy burn, it's 240 for 2 minutes. Let's try it. Because I think we have to win, like, right now. Good news is that them being happy is increasing this. So, like, we might not even finish the mission. We might just get the points that we need from just from their happiness alone. Let's go ahead and talk to Sahilda. What do you have for me? You've got nothing. Nothing useful at any rate. Yeah. Like, this might be useful, but I don't see... Yeah, we're not going to do it. We're just going to go ahead and... run through. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Whew. This finished just as they dipped underneath. So, I mean... Oh my god. Okay. So, what that did was, by completing a mission, we got experience points, which made us a 2nd level Viceroy. second level Viceroy, gave us some buildings that can show up in the rotation from every year when we are picking our new buildings. It also gave us another trader that might walk around. It gave us a couple more options to pick for economic cornerstones every year. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the world map. And that was our first city. So we're going to go ahead and stop this first video right here. And we'll pick it back up in a moment for our second city.